Welcome back to math. We're going to get started with a new unit today, and it's obviously going to be about data. You can see it in the goal itself. Make sure you have today's date and page number written down. And this goal, learn to use tables to record and organize data. All right, now that you got that all written down, here's your warm-up. Let's go back a little bit to division and see how you do. Adding problem and a dividing problem. Come back when you're done. So here are the answers you should have had. So remember, when adding or subtracting fractions, you got to have a common denominator. So I made it 24. So I basically made a proportion and made sure they were equal. And we can see that we now have 8 24ths and 15 24ths. When you add them together, you get 23 24ths. For dividing, remember, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal. So I flipped 1/3 to be 3 over 1. And then I multiplied across. Before I did, I simplified, cross-simplified. 3.5 is what you should have got in its simplest form. If you got those right, good job. You didn't forget these skills. If you got them wrong, you probably need to freshen up on these things. Go to Khan Academy, work on those fraction activities to make sure you are strong on them. Let's talk about weather. We had some interesting weather yesterday, didn't we? And we'll have interesting weather today and probably interesting weather tomorrow, because weather is always happening. So weather forecasters, what they do is they collect data about the weather. They organize and they interpret the data, and they usually find information that they need to warn people about in severe weather. The advanced warning that they can get from collecting this data usually helps save lives. So one thing they normally do with the data is they put it into a table. And if you can put data into a table, it makes things a lot easier to be able to see organized stuff. It's easier to see patterns. It's easier to see relationships that the numbers have within each other. And obviously with weather, that helps to see what's coming and what you need to prepare people for. So let's actually look at some applications of using tables. Now in this unit, we're going to be doing a lot of notes that are showing how to organize math. It's not going to be a lot of math being done. It's how to organize that math. So using the skills that we do know of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing will help us here in these lessons. So let's say we had an application where the direction said use the audience data table here, or data here, to make a table. Then you're going to use that table to describe what you notice. So this first question says on May 1st, we had 275 people in the audience at the school play. May 2nd, 302 people, and May 3rd, 322. Now the question said the directions were to make a table. So really what you want to do when making a table is put together the information you have and make sure that they line up in order of what information was given. So some things you should be writing down, obviously this table, but let's make sure we label the pieces that you see of the table. You have to have the titles of what information we're seeing, and then organize the table over time. Okay? So as you can see, we have it in order over time. May 1st, the next day is May 2nd, the next day is May 3rd. So one of these columns has to be in order, and the date for this one just makes sense. After that, you make sure that you match up the information that goes directly with the date. May 1st, 275 people. May 2nd, 302 people. And May 3rd, 322. And you see that they all match up properly down in the table. Then, once you have it all in a good, organized fashion, it's a lot easier than looking at a paragraph, you can usually make some sort of summary or find the pattern and relationships that you see. So from this table, you can see one real simple thing. The attendance went up every single day. So from May 1st to May 3rd, the attendance increased. Now from here, you could even say, how much did it increase? Well, you could take the bottom one, 322, and subtract from 275 and see what your increase was from the beginning to the end. Or you can just add them up total and say, how many did they have come in total? You can just add them up. When everything's in order and in a nice table, it makes things real easy. So go ahead and put these notes down before moving on. All right. In your notes, I want you to make a table for number 1 and number 3. Make a table and then tell what you notice from the tables. When you're done, come on back so we can move on to example 2. When you come over to the table to get your quiz checked off, I'm also going to be looking at these to make sure they're done properly. If they're not done properly, I'll be sending you back. That's how we're going to check to see if you got this done right or not. So good luck, and come back when you're done. All right, let's take a look at another example. This one you don't need to write down in the notebook. You just need to have this one or listen to this one because I'm going to kind of explain how it's organized. So the directions say use the temperature data to make a table, and we got to find the pattern and draw a conclusion or make some sort of inference at the end. So we're going to see that we put the temperatures down, and they're put down in the table in order, and they're in order by time. So 3 a.m. came first, so we put 53 degrees there. 5 a.m., 52 degrees. 7 a.m., 50 degrees. 9 a.m., 53, and at 11 it was 57. So once our data is in a table, the other thing I want to show you too is up here in the title of temperature, we put this bracket and degrees Fahrenheit in there. Now if we do that in the title, that means like up here, we don't have to write this every single time for each number along the table. If you have it in the title, you know it's going to be there. We probably could have done that here in time and put AM here and just put 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. But what if we wanted to extend our table to look into the afternoon temperatures? It would get real confusing. So now we just do it and keep it in order. So what do we notice about the temperatures? Well, if we look at 3 a.m. it was 53, 5 a.m. it was 52, then at 7 a.m. it was at 50, then it went back up at 9 a.m. to 53, and then 11 it went up to 57. So the big thing that kind of sticks out to me is at 7 a.m. for some reason the temperature dropped and then shot up after it. Now, what could you conclude or infer about the weather? That time of day, what do you think is normally happening? The sun's coming up. Temperatures usually change a lot when the sun is going up and down, and that's probably what we see here. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to do these two problems. You're going to look at them, and you're going to answer them. So for number 6, you have the table already there. Okay. You have to organize the information in a different way than what they have here. So see if you can figure out how to organize it a different way, and then explain when each table may be useful to you. So find a different way that you would organize it. When you come back, I'll tell you what you could have done. And for number 7, it says Arthur, Victoria, and Jeffrey are in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. Although not necessarily in order, Victoria is not in 8th grade. The 6th graders in choir with Arthur and in band with Victoria. Each student is in which grade? Use a yes or no table like this one at the right to help you answer the questions. Come back and we'll see how well you can do at filling in this table. So for number 7, you got to fill in the table, and for number 6, you just have to reorganize this table into a different way. Again, what I will do is I'll be checking these and seeing what you did when you come through to show me your lesson quiz. Good luck. All right, nice and quick and simple. Here is your box of thought. So there's 2 questions here, but all you have to do is answer number 1. Don't even worry about number 2. Skip it. You just have to do this one. Tell how a table helps you organize the data. I expect a sentence or 2. If they're not full sentences, you're going back. And here's your quiz. 2 questions that you have to make a table for. Actually, if you look at it, you only have to make 1 table, and then number 2, you have to just figure out from that table if you can find a pattern. That's it. Remember, I'm going to be checking example 1, example 2 problems that you did, and if they're not done completed, you're going to have to go back and do them again. And then your box of thought needs to be full sentence or 2 for just question 1, and then this should be in good order as well. So that's it. We'll see you next lesson.